Hello and welcome back to Pat's Latest. I'm your host, Mike Gambardella, and after a brief hiatus, we come back with everything on your New England Patriots, including a look at the dawning of a new era for New England, to be very honest, what that means for Foxborough and Boston at large. I'll look at the quarter century team as released by the ESPN pundits and what they got right and what they've actually snubbed and gotten wrong, and some important tackle signings for your New England Patriots. Before we get into everything, make sure you go down and subscribe for that channel so you can get everything you need to know about the Patriots all off season long and beyond. Make sure you give us a like if you like what you hear. Get in the comments and let us know what you think about what's going on with the Pats right now and how impressed you've been with the off season and what you think of this 25 century, quarter century team. We start looking at the quote unquote toast of Boston, and is that Drake May at this point? The flip side of that, is this actually the darkest timeline for the New England Patriots? Things are not, or I should say, for the Boston sports fans. We know the past 3 years or so has been for the Patriots after having such success for a long time. The 70s, 80s, and early 90s really not great until things started to kick into high gear with Drew Bledsoe and Bill Parcells coming in. And it has been nothing but success until the turn of 2020, COVID, etc., Tom Brady leaving. We know this. But looking more specifically at what's going on in Boston sports right now, Jason Tatum tore his Achilles after leading the Celtics to a championship in the NBA. He's not going to be back anytime soon. The Boston Red Sox recently traded their best players in Rafael Devers to a West Coast team, eerily reminiscent of Mookie Betts being shipped out of town right after they won a World Series. Brad Marchand, the captain of the Boston Bruins, shipped to the rival and hated Florida Panthers and helps them win a Stanley Cup. Save us, Drake May. It is a huge opportunity for a guy that hat tip to getting married this past weekend here outside of Boston, but an opportunity for him to really take hold of the reins of everything that it really is the lifeblood of Boston, and that is sports. And the fans latch on to everybody who has success, those who thrive in the media, say the right things and go out and do it on the fields of play and come away with victories. That's why you love Jason Tatum, because he won. You like Rafael Devers because he tore the cover off the ball in spite of not wanting to play the field. You love Brad Marchand for instigating other teams, for scoring goals, and for helping Boston to that 2011 championship as well. But it's a long time for everybody at this point. And I know the Celtics just won a year ago, but you start to see things going the wrong way. Are they going to deal Drew Holiday? Are they going to deal Porzingis? Are they going to blow it all up and get rid of Jaylen Brown? There's a lot of unknowns, and I think it's odd a little bit after 3 years plus of real inconsistency with the Patriots that suddenly Mike Vrabel has this team in a spot where they could be the consistent ones and could carry the torch for Boston sports. I think either way, this is a very good time to be in on the ground floor of the New England Patriots to say, there are a lot of people looking at this team saying they can surprise, they can make the playoffs. It all rests on the shoulders of Drake May. And can they really start to turn a corner to get to the point where they're not just looking at putting a statue of Tom Brady out in the parking lot? They're looking at cementing their own legacy behind players like Drake May. And we're excited to see where that goes in the very, very near future. Looking at the near past, we look at what ESPN put out in their quarter century team. And obviously, looking at from 2000 until 2025, there should be a lot of Patriot representation on that team. Tom Brady is a given. Rob Gronkowski is a given. Those are your quarterback and tight end. What they did is they put starters for the 53-man roster and then had a couple, secondary players, guys who would back up on the bench, really build everything out. So Brady, Gronk. No surprise at wide receiver, Randy Moss was there. At nose tackle, Vince Wilfork. At cornerback, seeing Darrelle Revis there. Adding one of the best special teamers perhaps of all time, Matthew Slater getting the nod. And at head coach, obviously you have to go Bill Belichick. I think it really was easy to identify those guys and say, look, this is the best of the best when you win 6 championships, and even for Brady and Gronk, who go on to win another one in Tampa Bay, even for guys like Randy Moss and Darrelle Revis, who had fantastic careers before they even came to New England. These are guys that dominated the past 25 years and absolutely had to be on that list. There's other players that I think would be surprising, but I think for the most part, ESPN was fairly accurate in their assessment. Nothing too far out of the realm of possibility or surprising in a sense. But I think if you started to look at it, there really could be a few people that, wait, why haven't you said that name yet? And we'll take a look at that to say, should guys that probably are on the tip of your tongue, Julian Edelman, Adam Vinatieri, and others, why are they not on that team? Especially Julian Edelman. Did he deserve a look? This is a Super Bowl MVP. This is Tom Brady's go-to target, really, when things went wrong. The tough part about this is when you look at the other wide receivers on that team, when you're looking with Randy Moss, you're looking at Megatron, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, Terrell Owens, Marvin Harrison, Justin Jefferson, Antonio Brown, and Andre Johnson. That would be an extremely tough list to crack, even for a Super Bowl MVP. Cooper Kupp not on that list either. So again, just tough sledding when there is such talent there, and nothing to diminish what Julian Edelman's story is as, that late round pick, converted quarterback from Kent State becomes a Super Bowl MVP, which probably should be a movie and will be a movie at some point. But to put it in that quarter century team, probably not there quite yet. Additionally, I think looking at the kicker position, Adam Vinatieri, how do you not select him? Well, who was the player? Was Gulp, Justin Tucker, who I think you look over the past 24 years, leave out last season, he was the most automatic kicker that we had seen in quite some time. Kicking the longest field goal in NFL history, having a weapon at your disposal to be able to do that, it puts him at the top of that list from a sheer leg talent perspective. For me, winning championships usually leans over that talent perspective, and clutch puts it over the top for me. So I think Steven Gostkowski should have gotten a look at that spot for a guy who wins championships, and Adam Vinatieri coming up with those pivotal moments when you thought that the game was over and just give him a chance and maybe it won't happen. He always did. He was there for the team whenever they needed it. And for me, I think Vinatieri should have been in that spot. Nothing to take away from the numbers put up on the field by Justin Tucker, but I think in that regard, ESPN did indeed get it wrong. Looking at the field for the Patriots and their roster construction, and a little bit of surprising news on the tackle front, and a little surprising in that after signing Morgan Moses and bringing in Will Campbell, that we're still talking about the offensive tackle spot. One update is a free agent target that the Patriots did try to go after was Alaric Jackson. He obviously re-signed the deal with the Los Angeles Rams, but unfortunate news has come out that he is dealing with the same issue that forced the career of David Andrews and forced Christian Barmore to miss a season plus with blood clots. There was no timetable for his return after signing that 3-year, $57 million deal, and likely why the Rams went on to sign DJ Humphries as well. So a little bit of color to maybe why the Patriots didn't push as hard, perhaps when going through those medicals with Alaric Jackson, and why they decided to leave left tackle open before the NFL draft. Now, after the other side of that, Will Campbell has acquitted himself well and quickly stepped up into a leadership capacity, even as a rookie at this point, and allowing other players to fall into place. One that is coming in now is a familiar name in Yasir Durant. Was actually an undrafted player coming out of that 2022 draft and signed by the Kansas City Chiefs. Was a bit surprising because some NFL draft graders had him in the third round. The Patriots eventually gave a seventh rounder to Kansas City, had him on the roster for over a year before moving on from him, and he had other stops, including the New Orleans Saints. Durant actually gets the 1-year deal with the Patriots now as a welcome back, and he actually just won a title with the DC Defenders in the UFL. And wasn't exactly a stiff or a slouch in any regard because he was named to the All UFL team after starting for left tackle for those DC Defenders. So congratulations to Yasir on a UFL title. Congratulations on the new deal with the Patriots. And it will be interesting to see how the depth starts to look at least at the tackle position, and what the backups start to look like. Whether Vidarian Lowe is an odd man out now after starting for so long, given the opportunity, whether Caden Wallace starts to kick inside, and what the combinations start to look like for Doug Marrone as the offensive line coach, and what Mike Vrabel and Elliot Wolf really are cooking up in that kitchen. Excuse me. We're excited to see what this offensive line is going to look like after really not having that cohesive unit for Drake May this past year, and see how they can really make a difference not only for May, but for Travion Henderson, Ramondre Stevenson, and the rest of that backfield as well. That'll do it for us here on this episode of Pat's Latest. Make sure you go down and subscribe for the channel. Get everything you need to know about your Patriots. You don't want to be left behind. There are daily updates coming your way. We'll have it all for you right here. Make sure you get down in the comments. Let us know what you think of those snubs for the quarter century team. And make sure you go back and check out all of our old episodes so you can find out exactly what's going on with the Pats. We'll continue to have it right here for you. Fight on, Foxborough.